and I, within 2 months, was back doing the exact same things in the exact same places. And I was like, wow, I really have no control. And I just had this moment of clarity. I looked in the mirror, and I was, at this point, it was just after my 19th birthday. I was just under 100 pounds. I was gray. I was a junkie, and I looked it, and I could see it. And I just realized that I could probably spend another 5-10 years like this. It wasn't, crucial that I get myself some help, but I just didn't want to. I was like, I would rather die today or get help than have to live like this. Mm. And I called a friend who had wanted to get me into a long-term rehabilitation center. I had pushed it off for a long time, and I said, I'm ready. Let's do this. So,
and I think that's why when we talk about rehabilitation or the system, it's not to rehabilitate, because if we really want to help people, there has to be a way for us to get them to a point where they realize they need help.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like locking somebody up is not going to be like, you're not going to teach them that you need help.
No, you gotta want it, but then you have to have, you have to have the ability to get help. You can't do it on your own. Mm-hmm. And that's the problem with jail. We're just logging people up. And even if while they're in jail, they realize, you know what, I really want help. Okay, so how are we going to help with that transition? And that's a piece that I talk about a lot, is there really is no proper reintegration that will allow people to succeed.
I told you about my challenges.
Absolutely,
It's crazy.
And it's basic stuff. Get someone their ID before they come out, so that when you come out, you have your ID and your social insurance number. If you know the person's a drug addict, let's get them connected into a rehab so they can learn how to live again. Because it's not enough to just stop using drugs. You have to figure out other coping skills.
In a courtroom, there's 16 people that's getting paid in a courtroom.
Absolutely.
16. So it's by design. Yeah. It's by design, and you, like for me, when I was incarcerated, I didn't think about coming out and be like, I'm gonna change my life when I come out. I started in there because I hear a lot of people talk about it, talk about changing. But you still see their actions in jail, you know what I mean? I don't know. But within, like, you could tell, like, from I got there and I woke up and I was like, you know what? It started from there, and it's what I wanted. It's what I wanted, And I think a lot of it manifested for me because of what I wanted.
Right.
Like I told you, like crazy obstacles thrown in my way that were supposed to get me back in. But I'm stubborn. I'm very stubborn. Like, put a gun to my head, like, I don't care, do it. It's what I believe in. It's what I believe in.
You have to be, and you're lucky to have that sort of fortitude. And I think that we need to do more to help people see that in themselves. A lot of people don't believe in themselves enough to come out, and they think it's luck or they think it's some sort of privilege. It's not. It's really just persistence. That's all it is.
And like for me, it's confidence. It's come down to confidence and believing in yourself. Just being confident, and that's why. Like we talk about, most people, most adults, when you look at the problems that they face, it stems from the childhood, the type of childhood that they have. You know what I mean? So, being a parent now, those things are important to me. How it shaped them and what the experience is as a child. Because I know the effects it's going to have in the long run.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So you got help.
So I got help. And everything was like slow and steady. I had a friend of mine always said to me, slow and steady wins the race. And it really is true. Nothing was sudden. I came out of rehab. I had to go and finish a bunch of high school credits because I had like pieces of high school credits. Back then you had to do the Ontario academic credits in order to get into university. I just knew I needed education. It took me until I was 21 to actually graduate from high school. And then I went directly to university. I didn't really have a goal. I knew I had wanted to be a lawyer from the time I was a little kid. I watched a family member go through the system.
Okay,
and
so
I was I want that title. I want to be a lawyer because that's important. That's something that people respect. But then when I was on the street, I met all kinds of people with titles that are supposed to garner respect, and God knows they weren't acting respectfully.
This is the thing I find interesting about your journey, especially being homeless and being a woman. You seen what the men and what they're capable of. You understand?
Absolutely. So
you've seen the worst. So you know. You know what I mean? Maybe you've seen the worst, or you've seen being in that position. I remember working, one of the jobs I had growing up, I was a kitchen coordinator for the Red Cross. It was like a winter program. So they had me working at the Red Cross down by Jarvis there. And there was a lot of teenage runaways.
Yeah.
Like people were just like, I'm leaving my house. Like I can't deal with that shit. And I was like, holy. Because I never knew there was so many teenage runaways.
Yeah, and there's little pockets of downtown Toronto where they all congregate and everyone knows, you know, where you can go to do whatever you need to survive. And there's always a spot that you can go to,
so
and there's always people there.
You woke up,
yeah.
You got help,
yeah.
And then said, I'm going to finish, get my credits.
I want to do something, and I knew I needed to make money.
How was your relationship with your mom at that point?
No, it was good. My mom always said that when I'm ready to like sober up and go home and go to school and live properly, I had a place to go with her. And when I finally said I was ready, she agreed to take me in, and we worked out an arrangement where, you know, I would pay rent and contribute to the home and help her and my stepdad out. That's it. And be responsible, but also to help them, because now they were going to move to a place that was big enough for me to be at. Okay. They had moved after I left home. They moved to a different spot, and they're both, you know, working class. That my stepdad was doing.
What about your dad? How was your relationship with your dad at that point?
No, I wasn't in my life. When my mom kicked me out once when I was 16 years old, and I had nothing, like nowhere to go. I'd exhausted, you know, my friends' couches by that point. Their parents were sick of waking up and seeing me, you know, crashed at their place. And I called him and I said, and at this point we hadn't talked since I was in the group home. So we tried to repair things when I was in the group home. He walked out on me. And then when I was 16, I called him and I said, I've got nowhere to stay. Can I come with you? And I'll never forget, he said, this might be the first decision your mom has ever made that I agree with. And he hung up the phone. So no, that was definitely not in the picture.
Up till now, still
not in the picture. So we tried again. I found out when I was in my early 20s that I had siblings. So I have a half brother and a half sister that I'm 20 years older than. And I tried to reconnect with him for their sake. It lasted a few years, and again, it was huge disappointment, and I just shut the door on it. And now I stay away because I don't need that. I don't need to set myself up to be disappointed.
I feel like with my father, like I don't really deal with him at all, and I just see him as a sperm donor, so I don't expect nothing.
Right.
So I think
and then you can't get hurt.
Exactly. So I don't expect nothing.
Right.
I'm good.
Yeah, that's it. You know, I'm at a point in my life where I don't wish him harm. I hope that he is content in the decisions he makes. I really don't. I used to for a long time wish harm. I was so angry at the way that he treated me. I let all of that go. There's no resentment anymore. It's just, I don't need him. I've got a wonderful stepfather who really did everything he could, including supporting my mom. Because when I was on the street, my mom was beside herself. Yeah,
important. She needed that.
Absolutely, and so he stayed solid with her, and still, you know, they're still together through it all. And I don't need that. I don't have any. I don't have any lacking.
Salute to the man that holds down his woman when she's going
100%.
through it. You know what I mean? Straight up.
Through anything.
You know what I mean? But just, you know, it's crazy. Yo. It's so easy for men and women to just separate nowadays. And it's been going on for generations now. It's ridiculous. And now we're paying for it.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? We're paying for it.
The amount of offenders in the system that don't have a father figure, that haven't been raised by their dad, it's unbelievable, and need to step up and take responsibility for the kids they're having.
One guy came up to me. I remember it's a tall guy, big guy in the pen. And we got to talking, and he started talking about his mom, and got deep. And the man basically was like, yo, I don't know who my father is. Yeah. My mom can't tell me who my father is. So I was like, oh shit. Like, there's a next level of not knowing who your father is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's one thing, okay, your dad gave up on you, but then it's I don't know.
Right.
Nobody could tell me.
No idea. Yeah.
I was like,
You know, and what message does that send to someone growing up? To know that.
You want to see how the guy is so insecure.
Right.
Especially when it comes to women. It's insecure. So, when you hear that, I'm like, okay, yeah, I see where that comes from. You know what I mean? It's crazy. It's crazy. But, so you went to... when did you start thinking about going to law school?
So I had wanted to be a lawyer when I was a kid, and then obviously my teenage years made me think there's absolutely no way that I can
because
do that.
Because of what you've been up to?
Yeah, there's no way I can make that transition. So I went to university just because I knew I needed an education somewhere. I fell in love with philosophy. I fell in love with studying philosophy. I fell in love with debating philosophy. It was just, for me, phenomenal. I had great professors and other students. And that sort of helped me grow as a person because I felt like I had a lot of years of maturing that I needed to catch up for. So I did that. Started partying again a little bit, but still maintained marks, still...
no drugs?
Yeah, doing drugs. I started doing drugs again.
Was it because of school, or was
no,
just
I wanted to
still
be
did-
normal. I wanted, for me it was like, when
That
you
was
sober up
being
that
normal.
little, right, when you sober up that young, at 19 years old, you don't have a place socially, right? It was like, other people who were sober are either much older than you, or much younger, and they're not really having too much fun,
So you
right?
stop.
And you get to university, and everybody's drinking, and everybody's smoking weed, and it's all about the parties, and I was like, I don't know where I fit in with that. And so you start, I started off slowly, and I started off drinking again and hanging out, and I always loved house music, so I was like a bit of a raver when I was a kid, like a young teenager. And so then in my 20s, I found myself in house parties, and everyone around me was like doing E and doing G, and it's there was the designer drugs, but I still was so focused on school, and I was, quite frankly, I was scared of cocaine. I was like, I know where that can take me, and I got to stay away. And I had a couple of people who were close to me that were very protective and made sure to keep that away from me. And then I relapsed at 24. I had a 3-month relapse that was literally, took over in 3 months very quickly. And during that time, I got accepted into Osgoode Hall Law School. So I'm in the middle of a cocaine relapse. Really, my life was like unraveling in some ways. And then I get handed this gift horse.
The irony of life.
My addiction got
And
so
nothing is a
bad.
coincidence.
At all. My addiction got so bad that I actually called Osgoode and was like, can I defer for a year? I wanted to put off law school for a year so I could keep using. No, I wasn't ready to stop. And I knew I couldn't do both. And they said, no, you have to reapply again.
That's how did
I swear to God.
Oh
and I
my
said,
God.
I will never, there was something in me that knew I was never going to get this opportunity again. This was like a
For
one
sure.
shot deal for
The
me.
coke is always going to be there.
You know what? And that is exactly the message that changed my life. I had a friend of mine say to me, you know where this life takes you. You've been there before. You're going down that path again. And if that's what you want to do it. But you just got handed a door to a whole different life. And you don't know where that life takes you. You know where this one, and it'll always be there for you. And I said, you're right. And so I accepted the invite to Osgoode. And this would have been, I had just turned 25. So it was like June, right before I was going into school. And in September, I started fresh, and I had to turn my whole life around. I quit everything. I quit the partying. I quit drinking. I quit smoking cigarettes, which I had been doing since I was like everything. I had to cut everybody off, and literally like wipe the slate clean, and it's sober ever since. So I'm going to be 40 in June this year. So it's been 15 years.
That's great.
Yeah,
That's great.
and it was a whole new life for me, and it was in law school that I was like, my first year I was like, I cannot do this.
Yeah,
I can't compete. This is not happening.
Because you gotta understand that people gotta understand, like, from what you're used to, your background, your surrounding, and what you're getting introduced to in law school. These guys are not coming from the same.
No, they don't
Right.
understand any
Right.
of it. That's some of them, most of them, I would say it's unfathomable what actually exists out there for people. In care, on the streets. What club life was like any of it, and but it was in law school that I realized that perspective I'm going to use to my advantage. I'm going to help people that are coming up that have made the same choices that I did. I just didn't get caught. And so for me, it was like, no, I understand not just the crimes and not just the players, but like the mindset. And that's something I'm going to use to my advantage. I'm not going to lose that. And it's something that I've really worked hard to maintain so that when I'm meeting people and I'm at the jail, like, I'm fully aware that my own choices in life could have landed me in that same situation. And so I want to understand my clients.